It's all about peace, spreading love in the world. So I gotta represent rebels for joy, positivity. You know that we're all about it. Magic happens when you align your purpose, passion, and power. Just believe in your greatness. I know for sure the light that you radiate too strong to ignore. Emotional revolution. It's time that we start. Love, we need more. We are rebels for joy. Woo!
Hey sisters, welcome to the revolution. I am so excited here today to help you align your purpose, passion, and inner power, all fueled by joy. I'm Bonnie Kelly, and this is
Jillian Bolans. How are you? Good morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're listening to this.
It's morning for us.
It's actually afternoon for me, but I'm kind of still in the mode of morning over here. So Bonnie and I are coast to coast business partners, and it's been such an interesting road to navigate, but it's been so fun in terms of like really reminding each other to have grace for ourselves, because like Bonnie, you and I always joke about this, like we're so quick to like pick ourselves apart and be like, oh my gosh, I should do more, and the other one of us is like, hi, you have literally climbed Mount Everest in all that you've done today, and we are 3 hours apart. So like, let's give ourselves a little bit of grace. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, same here. And we're mamas, right? So it's like we're navigating a huge movement, our coaching businesses, our students, and also like prioritizing being a mama bear, right? And so this East Coast, West Coast thing, like literally she's in Portland, Maine-ish. And then I'm out in Sacramento-ish, California. I say ish because we're like on the outskirts of these. But so we're literally on East and West Coast. And so we're navigating the time zone and our teams and our offers and our students and all of those things. You know, it takes a level of intentionality and it takes a level of prioritization, right? For us to be able to do that, as well as this ability to trust our gut. So what a beautiful topic to talk about.
I was just going to say, Bonnie, that was so well done, the segue, because I had this idea. I said, BK, I have an idea on a really cool podcast that's kind of going to give our ladies the behind the scenes look. And so I said, here's the big idea. And she helped me to break it down. She goes, okay, so we're talking about intentionality and priorities. And I said, yeah, and there's a little bit of trust action going on in there too. So that was really nicely done. But before we hop in, Bonnie, why shouldn't you write with a broken pen?
Ooh, I love jokes. I don't know why.
Because it's pointless. We are going to be doling our
so cheesy.
To actually laugh at our silly little jokes at the beginning, but we figured it sounded fun. And it would just like make us smile as we are getting into the mode of serving you.
Bonnie's
crying.
It's pointless. Oh, I love it. Pointless. I love it. Whew, I am a sucker for a bad pun, you guys. Just a sucker.
You are. Oh, seriously. So here's a tip of the day, right? Like if you ever want to get in Bonnie's good graces and just like really make an impact, go up to her and tell her the corniest joke. You will be in like Flynn for life.
True story.
True story. All right. I want to dive in because this felt so fun to me. I know that for the people that I connect with over social media, podcast world, you know, any place where we are getting, especially coaches, right? Like you and I are coaches and we provide amazing opportunity for expansion and services with the people that we are so blessed to work with. I know that for the people that I find inspiring and motivating, and not just the inspiration, because inspiration can fade, but like I can tell that they're flipping doing their work. I love to see, like, kind of get a behind the scenes feel. And so this is going to be our third or fourth podcast that we will release. And gosh, we've got oodles and oodles of topics that we want to talk about on this podcast. But I was like,
65
you know what?
pages. 65 pages of topics. I just want to
We're not going to run out of content, friends, so don't worry. But I was like, wouldn't it be really cool at the beginning of this to kind of give our ladies the behind the scenes of what's going on for us and then why that matters to them and help them to ground into what it is they want to do and how it is they want to do it, and then give everyone permission to shift and pivot as necessary.
Yeah, so powerful, you guys, because we say this a lot in our podcast. It's like, it's not about us, right? This is a movement that's all about you.
Mhm.
It's all about you. You're the rebel for joy. You're the one that is willing to push against this mediocre, I'm fine, wearing the mask mentality, which is society these days. You're the one who's doing the inner work. You're the one committed to living a better, more epic life. You're
Yes.
the one that's doing it. We may be your rebellion leaders and your guides and your reminders and your pokers, right?
Yeah.
But that's what our job is just to help give you more to sink your teeth into on your journey.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about here, because this topic is so universal. So Jillian, let's dive in, right? Let's really
Yeah.
talk about
So
that.
when you and I first kind of, said our entrepreneurial vows, and we we decided that we really wanted to do this thing called Business and Life and Rebels for Joy and all the things together, we actually immediately thought that we would launch a podcast very early on. We thought that this would be the very first thing that we've done.
Yeah.
And we are coming up on about our 8-month anniversary and recording our initial podcast now. And I just love how we have allowed this process to unfold in the way it was meant to, and not in the way that we felt it should.
Ooh,
Right?
huge.
We always say that shoulding is a form of shaming. And so if we had stuck to the initial plan of, well, we should get the podcast out there because it will touch more people and we'll be able to impact more lives right away, we would have really cut ourselves short in other areas where we've already made a significant impact in the lives of people, and then also for our families too. So our original plan was to get the podcast up and running. And then we did some deep diving. We discovered that we wanted to spend more time being intentional with, first of all, who we are speaking to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, sister listening, we know you.
Yeah.
We have spent hours really getting clear on the amazing women that we get to serve, because we've done a lot of research and we've done a lot of feeling into the person that we feel we can impact the very most. And that's you. I know that I can say that in full confidence. So instead of just putting out a podcast where we were speaking to the abyss or speaking to the masses, we wanted you to feel like we were speaking to you, because we were intentional with putting that time in, with getting to know the people that we feel like we can make the greatest level of impact on. Do you have anything you want to add to that, BK?
Yeah, it's like I want you to think about, what we're leading into here is this concept. Have you ever had a plan that you literally had planned to the T? You're going to do X, Y, and Z, whether it's in business, whether it's in, just your life or whatever it is. And the more that you start walking down this rigid plan, the more off-centered you feel. Right? The more disconnected you feel, the more that but you either do one of two things. You either jump off the path completely and never go back, or you persevere through at the expense or the detriment of quality.
Yes, absolutely.
And so this is a big thing of what I want you guys to really sink your minds into, of where in your life, where do you go, right? Do you just jump and abandon ship, begin to avoid, procrastinate, and don't turn back, and then just kind of move to the next thing, move to the next thing, move to the next thing? Or do you just keep grit and grinding through it just because you want to check it off the list, you want to get it done, and it's at an expense that you're not acknowledging?
Right.
And I know for me, I'm the latter, right? Like I am the push through, get it done, check it off, move on to and then move on to the next thing.
Right. No rest, no celebration, just go.
We don't do that anymore. But that was
we're so tired of that way of being.
But that was my MO.
Yeah.
And, it would come at great expense, because things weren't getting done to the quality or caliber that I know that I'm capable of doing, because I wasn't trusting my gut. I wasn't listening to my inner guiding system. I wasn't really looking at the priorities in my life and making the conscious decision, like planning forward, because I'm a fire. Right? I'm a get it done kind of girl. Like I want to check it off, move on. I don't like lingering. I don't like dilly-dallying. I want to just move.
Yeah.
It's an awesome personality trait that also needs to be refined. Yes.
Very well put. Very well put. And when we were growing this and we were starting to try to do all the things and get the podcast up and going, we both we just looked at each other, and I'm so grateful for, I mean, Bonnie, like I really feel like you and I are redefining sisterhood. We're
We are.
redefining partnership.
Yeah.
We're redefining friendship. And so we looked at each other and I mean, think about it. Like we were still pretty early in the partnership phase, like maybe wanting to impress each other a little bit, maybe not wanting to step on toes a little bit, but we were like, no, honesty trumps all of that. We're feeling something's not completely on point with launching the podcast when we initially planned to launch it. And so it was interesting because we both were feeling that way. And then we came to each other and we said, okay, so how can we navigate this? What are our priorities right now? And getting a handle on those. So at the time, we wanted to launch this originally in October. It will be launched October of 2019. It will be launched in February of 2020. We had a live event going on that I had been planning all year long. We both have families. You have a daughter, and I've got 2 sons and then one on the way. And we both like just saw bigger picture in terms of like what we wanted to do with this. And so we said, okay, we want to impact people. We want it to not take a huge toll financially on our families.
Yeah.
So what can we do behind the scenes to really set the stage up for a really successful, a really embodied podcast launch, as opposed to putting something out there? So we broke it down and we said, first things first, let's focus on the live event. Let's show up and give the most incredible experience to the amazing women who are in that room. And let's offer them a life-changing opportunity that will really help to start making the impact that you and I know that we are ready to make on a massive scale, but immediately with the incredible soul sisters that were in that room. And what that did is it got us coaching, it got us in our zone of geniuses. And then also it invited women into the energetic exchange that comes when they invested in themselves. So they are getting the most value-packed program ever. And they're getting the opportunity to let that really sink in because they are financially investing in themselves for that information. And then we have utilized the funds and the money that have come in from that program to really do a lot more research, to do things right and with that high level of quality that you said, as opposed to like trying to like hook up iTunes by ourselves. We've invested in support, right? We now have a team. We've got a VA. We've got a podcast company that we're working with, and it just feels good. So I think like the intentionality was, let's do the thing, let's get it out there. And then it got to shift when we got to get really clear on our priorities.
Yeah. And once you get that clarity, it's really just allowing yourself to be guided here. You guys, like, I think there's not enough said about the word allowing. Right? Is that we are in, I think we're coming out of now a mentality of just that grit, grind, do, hustle kind of mentality. And I think there's a time and a place for that. I think, you know, if you're really trying to break through the procrastination bug, right? And really kind of flex your motivation muscles and really show yourself what you're capable of doing, that sometimes you need to step into that energy if you've been really weighed down a lot by procrastination and avoidance. And, you know, so you need to rally, right? And really show yourself. And then once you've got that confidence behind you, you know, it's really not staying in that masculine energy and allowing yourself to really get back into touch with what is important to you and why is it important to you. So Joey and I kind of broke it down to 4 steps that we want you to work on with this concept. So whether or not it's in business, whether or not it's even just prioritizing your house or, you know, all of the functions that are going on between all of the kids, where you're not taking care of yourself, maybe that you're neglecting you, right? That you are neglecting your needs, wants, desires, or dreams. Okay, girl, you're a rebel. Rebels matter. Your dreams matter. And it's time to dream bigger. It's time to dream bigger than the mediocrity and the tiny little, I'm fine, I'll deal with it later, kind of kicking the can down the road BS that we're all used to in society. So to help you do that, we want you in this state that you're allowing things to kind of unfold. You are prioritizing and you're being very intentional with everything that's going on so that you don't get burnout.
Right. So good. I just the slogan, like dream bigger. Aren't we all ready to dream bigger? And we know for those of you that are listening, you are entrepreneurs. You potentially, you're a mama potentially. Like you've got a lot going on. And if we can, Bonnie, will you just read the steps? Like write these down
Yes.
because this will help you. We wanted to share the behind the scenes of our business, but also let you know that when we show up in our business, we have our priorities in terms of our families, our recalibration time for ourselves personally. Like we've got so many other things that are fueling the business decisions that we make because we're not just business
Yeah.
people. Right?
Yeah.
Just like you're not just a mom or you're not just an employee or just a friend. We are made up of so many different elements and perspectives of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we get to show up as all of those things, but we can't do them all at the same time. So having this list is going to really help.
Yes. Okay. So number one is actually just what Jillian said. Make a list.
Yeah.
We need to make a list of all the things that are fracturing and pulling your attention. These are the things that you want to do, the things you need to do, the things that you get to do. Right?
Bonnie, so yours and mine was, okay, we need to, and we get to, but these, in terms of like the list making,
Yeah.
we want to make the
5-day
5-day
challenge.
triple your joy challenge. We want to do a 6-week program. We want to do a year-long program. We want to do a podcast. We want to
Social media.
host. What was that?
Social media.
Social media, yes, right? Just like the normal everyday content. We want to host more events. We want to host retreats. Like that's a freaking lot.
Yeah,
and
totally.
so we couldn't do it all at the same time. So making that list was really crucial for us.
Yes. Then the second thing is you have to understand why you want to or why these are important. Okay. Why are they on your list? And don't give me the because I have to, I'm supposed to, whatever line, like take it deeper. Right. So if you're on the list is that, taking your kid to piano lessons every single week is on there, right? Why is that important? Don't just put on there because it's what's necessary. It's because it's what my husband wants me to do.
Right.
No, like why are you investing in piano lessons? What about that energetically, emotionally is that important to you to allow that to be there?
Yeah.
So make that list of why. Then number 3 is we want you to prioritize them. Okay. From most important to least important. Now, least important still means that it's very important.
Oh yeah, we get that you want to do it. It just may not be the right time to do it, which was the case for the podcast back in October. Or there might be other things that are more urgent, and that's okay. Having that awareness is actually something to celebrate.
Yeah. It was really that priority, prioritizing that allowed me and Jillian to recognize that the very first thing we chose to do or really wanted to do was get that 5-day Triple Your Joy challenge up and running.
Yeah.
Like that was really, really valuable to us, is that giving our audience, who our friends and fans and followers have been a part of our individual tribes for a long time, an opportunity to come and get to see the new united version of us.
Yeah.
And now it's also something that you, our audience right now, can get.
Right.
Right. So now it's something that it's like we're inviting everybody to constantly be able to triple their joy. And then from there, it's like, where do we want to go from this? And so we really got very intentional, and that prioritizing helped us see that. And the podcast actually started prioritizing lower on the list than we expected.
Yeah. It was funny, wasn't it? We were both like, oh, that's interesting. But here we are, right? And trusting in divine timing, which brings us to number 4, right?
Right. Which is get real. Okay. It's like, get real with yourself. Like really get real with what your gut, your intuition, your life, right? What all that is going on and what you're capable of doing. Yeah. So one of the factors for us is that Jillian's having a baby in February. You guys, like if you're listening to this in February, she might have already had the baby. She might already be in labor right now. We don't know.
Currently, in this present moment, he is still in my body. But it's been a huge, we've known this. Yeah. And so we've wanted to be really specific with what we're planning and when, so that I can hold space for the child that's growing and whenever he decides he wants to come, and we can still get the most important things for us on a soul level, but then also on a business level out to serve you all.
Yeah. And we don't want to over stress ourselves, right?
Right.
Over stress the business and over stress the relationship. So we've really taken more strides to be intentional, to allow space for us to work through these things, to also breathe, because if you're a mama, right, you understand that being pregnant is already a lot of work just in and of itself.
Yep.
So we've just allowed a lot of this energy and space and allowed very deep, honest conversations the whole way through of where we need to pivot and to continue to shift. Because even once you make the list, it's not a stagnant thing.
No, right.
It needs to be adaptable and malleable for you to continue to evolve and allow it to evolve as you're growing and as you're flowing. Right?
Yeah. Beautifully said. And I'm even just thinking about this week, right? So we both actually had kind of a spacious week where we said, okay, we're going to record a lot of podcasts. We're really like, this feels really good. And then I had a funeral to go to, right? And then other things come up. So life is going to create some bit of resistance or turmoil, and that's okay, because when you give yourself space and when you're able to say, okay, it stinks that this happened, that we weren't able to do what we wanted to do, but obviously there are some things that really, when life happens, you need to focus your energy on. When you've given yourself space, we still know what our priority was for this week, and we're just now shifting and pivoting some other things that we were going to do so that we could really make sure that we leaned into this podcast. So having that space is powerful.
Yeah. And because we have the list, is that we always know what the next thing that we're working on.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So girls, like, hopefully you've got a lot of value out of this. I think it's so important for you to really begin to trust yourself more, but then also get out of these mindsets of the shoulds and the have tos and I need tos, and really empower yourself, right? There's a reason why it's purpose, passion, power. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Self power, right? The power to choose, the power to think, the power to be malleable, right? To adopt different belief systems, right? This is your personal power. And we want to empower you here to be more intentional, to give yourself some more grace, to allow things to have space so that they can unfold in a way that is bigger and better than you could have imagined if you had just pushed and grinded your way through it.
Oh, that just feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yes. Okay.
It's
and then
so good.
Last thing I want to really encourage you girls. So speaking of dreaming bigger, right? That was one of the things that we dabbled in there, because as a rebel for joy, girls, like, we want you to dream bigger. And sometimes we don't know how to do that. If we've spent a lifetime of shrinking and dimming our lights to fit in and to conform to whatever everyone else, or our perception of what everyone else desires from us, it's going to be very easy for us to not even know where to start, how to dream bigger. Or maybe you have the dream, but it's like our light's been so corroded that it's only like, it doesn't know how to shine. Yeah. Then we want you to know that we've got an event coming up for that. Rebels for Joy Live at the end of May, which the whole theme of it is Dream Bigger. Dream bigger. So there's more details to come. We don't actually have that. Well, it might. It depends on when you're listening to this.
Yeah, I know. This is so fun because we're like, it's coming. And so, but this is us showing you into our dreams, right? So we share because we want to be super open books. We want to let you know that there's always going to be an opportunity for deeper levels of connection and healing and self-knowing with Bonnie and I, with Rebels for Joy. And so we'll be in California at the end of May, and we will, as soon as we have more details and as soon as we've got everything locked down, we will share all of that. But
and you guys, the best way to know is to be on our mailing list. So go to rebelsforjoy.com. Okay. That's where you could get hooked into our 5-day Triple Your Joy Challenge. Join the mailing list. Like, that's where you're going to get notified. The website is there to serve you as kind of a catalyst, a home for all of you and your fellow sisters to connect and to get involved. We've got a lot of fun things we want to plan, one of which is really helping you become an ambassador to joy, right? Like, I can't even wait to see what unfolds with that. Like that. So exciting.
I
So we
know.
invite you to go over there to be a part of our mailing list so that way you could be friends with us. A great way to do that is just join the 5-day Triple Your Joy Challenge. It's like a win-win for us. And then just stay tuned. We're here for you, girl. Like, we can't wait to continue to serve and love you through this process we call life.
You're amazing, sister. Have a great day.
Bye, girls.
Bye.